Sometimes I'll have a muse that I want to record, but I put it off because I've got other things to do. But in the meantime, something happens that I actually think is quite a good example of what it is I wanted to talk about. Even if it's something that's not quite the same, it's a bit of a false equivalency, I still think it fits. And I wanted to tell you a story. So I go live on Kick. That's K-I-K. I know that there's another streaming app called Kick that's spelt the traditional way that you spell Kick. But when I'm bored, I do live streaming on the shorter named Kick. And there are so many catfish on there. And a lot of the time, you can't even prove that they're not catfish, because even if you ask them for a video message or an audio message, they use like voice synthesizers to make themselves sound different. But it's led me to be a little bit cautious, and a lot of the time when someone comes into my stream to ask me if they can message me, I just say no. Sometimes I will respond, sometimes I'll be more than happy to talk to someone, but if I suspect that they're a catfish, I've got my guard up. But there was one that keeps coming into my stream, appears to be a woman, and I've flat out said to this person, look, I think you're a catfish. And I've given them plenty of opportunities to verify. There's a way that you can come onto a live stream, there's a private messenger thing, but to no avail. Now, they did actually point out something very interesting, that they've never expected me to do anything for them, they've never asked for money, so why would they be catfishing me? And, well, the truth is that some people do it for sport. There seems to be this real joke to some people. There seems to be some real comedy in the concept of a guy talking to a woman who turns out to be another guy. I don't know why that's funny. I don't know why that amuses so many people. There's a little bit of, I suppose, subtle homophobia there, because, you know, the idea of using homosexuality as a way to mock someone. Maybe that's just me, but I keep on, coming up with ideas to verify themselves, and they've always got some excuse. And then one day this person comes in and just starts talking to me like we haven't had the same conversation a million times, and I just blocked them. Now the thing about Kick is that when you block someone on live, they can still message you privately, and if you want to stop that, you have to block them separately, because it's almost like two different apps. And they asked me, why they blocked me, why I blocked them, and I just sent back a little, I covered my camera, but an audio video message, and I just said, look, I think you're a catfish, okay? Now you've got one of two choices here. You can either verify yourself, or you can choose not to verify yourself. That's entirely your choice. It's entirely your decision how you proceed. But it's also my choice to not talk to you, and I don't trust you. I don't trust many people on this app. And there's no third option where I'm going to ignore all of the other catfish, ignore all of the arseholes on this app, and make an exception for one person. It's not going to happen. And I hit the block button on this person again, and it's a very small example of what I wanted to talk about now. And this is the concept of overthinking positively. The thumbnail I'm using for this video is a bit of a clickbait thing. I know, I'm terrible. I'm not trying to dump on positive thinking. And if you don't think positively, you won't get as far. And, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You have to have belief. You have to have self-confidence. You have to sometimes look at the bright side. You need to look at what you have rather than what you don't have. And if you want what you don't have, you find it within yourself to reach the ambition, to reach the energy to attain that ambition. But there is such a time when you might be thinking too positively. Like if you're out and about one day and someone walks up to you in the street and punches you in the face, okay, you're allowed to say, maybe that person's got a problem with me. There's no reason why you owe that person, or why you realistically would turn around and go, well, maybe they, were just flexing their fist and my face got in the way, or maybe this is how they express love in their culture. No, you're perfectly within your rights and perfectly reasonable and perfectly sane to assume maybe that person didn't like you. But there are some people that would flat out try and convince you that you're a terrible person for that, because you're not thinking positively, you're being negative. And the funny thing is, if this happened every day, if every day you go into town and the same person comes up to you and punches you in the face at the exact same time every day, and they do this every day for the next year, there'll still be people at the end that will say to you, oh, come on, just because they did it the last 365 days, it doesn't mean they're going to do it again. But the funny thing I've noticed about some of these people is that they will never afford that same lecture the other way around. So they would expect you to, look on the bright side or look for the deeper meaning of a smack in the mouth. But yet they're always the same people who will come up with all kinds of convictions in their mind as to a look that someone gave them, a look that actually could mean anything. And a lot of the time, to return to a theme that I've covered quite a bit on this channel, there are people who want you to stay in their lives, but they don't really want to be in your lives, so they'll cut you out. I've had people that have come to me after years and years of silence, and the last time we spoke, they said some pretty horrific things, and they left me in absolutely no doubt of where I stood in their esteem. But now they want something, so they'll come back and they'll say, well, yeah, okay, all that stuff's true, all that stuff I said and did to you is true, but don't focus on that. Focus on some minor technicality, like the fact that I never actually said we were finished. And that's manipulative behaviour. So it's perfectly awesome and amazing to see the positive in a negative, to see that the glass beneath you is half full and not half empty, or the glass next to you. I don't know quite why it would be underneath you, but unless you're pissing in it. But maybe it's a urine sample. But anyway, whatever, I don't know. But sometimes a punch in the face is a punch in the face is a punch in the face. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. And, you've got to trust your senses. You've got to trust your convictions. You've got to be able to call something a something and not a something else. That's the video. I don't quite know how I got from talking about kick to this, but there you go.